The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Jennifer Vivian. I'm the Manager of Entrepreneurial Services at the City of Brampton, and I'll be your host for this morning's Entrepreneurs Connect webinar on online lead generation and marketing for small business. This final session in our four-part series is hosted by the City of Brampton's Entrepreneur Center in partnership with Meridian. For those of you that are unfamiliar with BEC, we are an innovative partnership between the province of Ontario and the City of Brampton, belonging to a network of 54 small business enterprise centers across Ontario that offers entrepreneurs various tools to start and grow their businesses. I would like to pay special attention to our series partner, Meridian. Without their generous and ongoing support of our event series, events like this would not be possible. I would also like to highlight that Meridian has generously sponsored a brand new 4-person meeting pod for our office. If you've been in the downtown recently, you'll be able to see it in the front window. We're hoping that eventually when COVID allows us to gather back in our space, that we'll be able to welcome you to the office so that you can check it out yourself. Meridian is Ontario's largest credit union and second largest in Canada, helping to grow the lives of more than 370,000 members with more than 75 years of banking history. Meridian is 100% owned by its members and has 89 branches and 15 business banking centers throughout Ontario. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. First off, this webinar is being recorded and a copy will be made available on the City of Brampton's Economic Development YouTube account. It is here where you'll be able to see the recordings for the previous sessions that we've held this month. We will be sending out an email later today with a link to the recording, along with a copy of today's slide deck. There will be time at the end of the presentation for Q&A. Everyone will remain muted. So we ask that you please use the question box on your participant control panel to type in your questions. In the event we are unable to get to your question this morning, you're always more than welcome to email us or our speakers directly. Lastly, as part of this series, we were doing a bit of a draw for those that participate in the session. So if you've registered for any of the 4 sessions and participated in the events, your name will be entered into a draw to receive one of 4 $25 gift cards. So we look forward to doing that draw later today, and we will notify you by email if you are one of the winners. So before I begin, I'd like to introduce our speakers this morning. Khurram Shahzad is with us this morning. He presented our first session. Since immigrating to Canada from Dubai in 2001, he has called the City of Brampton home with his wife and 2 children. With over 18 years of banking experience, Khurram opened Meridian's first branch in Brampton in 2016 at Bramley and Sandalwood. Continuing with their expansion, he led the opening of their Fletcher's Meadow location in the summer of 2019 and the brand new Bramley City Centre location in the fall of 2019. Currently, he manages the Chinguacousy South and the Bramley City Centre locations. Him and his wife love to travel, and in their spare time, he loves to play and follow cricket. So please give a warm welcome to Khurram.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for that wonderful introduction. I think there's a little bit of a correction there. My wife is the one who loves to travel, and somehow she has enforced that upon me. I guess that's 21 years of blissful marriage. You got to take some concessions. So thank you and welcome everybody who's rejoining us. And it's great to be presenting once again to you all. I hope that you've had some interesting insight between the 3 sessions that have already been presented, and I look forward to sharing some again wonderful tools, tips, tricks, and insight into our topic today, which is online lead generation and marketing for small businesses. So over the next 35 to 40 minutes, we'll be talking about various aspects of online lead generation and marketing for small business. And towards the end, we also have with us today a refined Roshan in the form of Sue Benison, our District Vice President for the GTHA West region, to be able to give us a recap. So moving forward, let's go into our very first element today, which is our session objectives. And hopefully what we're looking to do is today, we are looking to cover how to create an effective market plan. We'll also be looking into how to make more people aware that you exist, and we look at some of the options that are available to us. We'll also be talking about word of mouth and asking for referrals and how they play a very integral part into your marketing plan and your online presence as well. We're going to talk about boosting sales through direct selling, and with respect to that and direct selling, I see a comment here. So before I move any further, a big happy birthday to Sintai. You don't want to hear me singing happy birthday. We've done it in our Teams call. It's not very pleasant, so I'll stick to presenting our session today. But I hope you enjoy it today. Let's also consider entering the international marketplace, because eventually, if that is what your goal is, to be able to take your product, your service, or your business across borders. Well, we'll also be talking about a little bit as to what you can do. However, we'll keep our focus on local marketing. And then, as always, we'd like to definitely discuss some real-life scenarios with you all, and also share some thoughts on what you have been doing so far and what has been maybe successful for you, so that you are able to share that with your colleagues. So let's go into the very first element of creating an effective market plan. Like any business plan, a marketing plan is also something that requires for you to know your customers. Who are the individuals that you're going to be selling to, whether it's a service that you're going to be providing or it's actually your product. Detailed customer analysis is the key. And when we talk about detailed customer analysis, various elements come into play. And some of those elements include your target market. So, is it your older members or clients that you're serving? Is it the younger generation that you're looking into? Are you selling to millennials? Good luck with that. No discrimination against millennials, but knowing your target market, creating focus groups, knowing your customer preferences and habits as to how they shop, where they shop, what's attracting them, what options are they looking for, is going to help increase your customer base. And you can do this by building awareness amongst different segments as well. So let me give you an example here. So let's suppose that you are manufacturing baby clothes, right? Newborn babies. So if that is the situation, and then you are looking to market, generally the first thing that comes to mind is, hey, you know what? Newborn, like new mothers to be, dads, that's your target market, that's your segment. But then don't discount out the grandparents, right? So if you are going to be looking at that piece as a segment, even though it is for newborn kids, that will expand or increase your customer base. While you're doing that and creating that effective market plan and knowing your customers, it's also very important to always be studying your competition as well, as to what are they doing, what's different that members or clients find at their locations, and it'll offer you plenty of opportunities to learn from that competition. Did they make any mistakes? Were there any marketing flaws in their plan? Gives you a chance to adjust and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. And finally, once you've also studied the competition, you will have a very good idea as to what your competitive advantage is. Your unique selling proposition, as in marketing terms, a lot of people call them your USP, what is that unique selling proposition that you're bringing to the table? How are you going to differentiate yourself from the rest of the competition in the market? So knowing your customers, studying the competition are some very key elements that go into an effective market plan. Now, like Jennifer mentioned early on, this presentation is recorded, it is available, and I will also towards the end lead you to the resource that was utilized in creating this presentation that is available on our website. So when you're talking about knowing your customers and target market, you will see more examples as to what you should be looking at. However, for the time duration of our call today, we are keeping it a little bit of high level and giving you that opportunity to dig in a little bit deeper into the areas where you feel that you need to make a little bit more of a move. Moving on, that is not just what is part of an effective market plan. There are some other aspects as well. So we're going to talk to you about some tips and techniques that should be a part of your marketing plan. Let's start with emailing newsletters, right? Create a newsletter that, again, based on CASL requirements and for privacy. Once that you have consent from your clients, your members, you are able to, or your customers, you are able to then reach out to them through those email newsletters, identify new products that you might be launching, promotions. Think about a customer loyalty program. A lot of research has been done in terms of repeat purchases and how customer loyalty programs help again maintain that regular inflow back into the business. Also talk about promoting your brand with a slogan. It doesn't mean that you have to hire a really expensive Bay Street marketing agency to come up with a tagline for your small business. Take your unique selling proposition, take what differentiates you to the competition, and then try and coin a word or a sentence around it so that it stands out. It stands out for your brand. To give you an example, let's look at TD for example. TD has their slogan that banking can be comfortable, and they have that green chair, right? So anytime you think of TD, all their ads, all their advertising is that green chair. When you're thinking of Meridian, right? Our tagline is where banking feels good, right? So take your unique proposition, turn that into a word, a coin, or phrase out of it, and use that as your tagline to promote your brand with that slogan. Free publicity. Some of you are wondering, how do we get that? Well, all of us are driving around in our vehicles, typically for small business. See if you can invest in, one of those magnetic stickers that actually go on your car. So you see the real estate agents around town, driving fancy cars and with the name plastered all over it. You don't have to make it permanent. However, if you can invest in those magnetic stickers with your branding, with your slogan, sometimes you can just snap it on if you're going about, making your deliveries, or if you're going to a private function, yeah, you can easily take them off. So use every inch of space that you have to be able to project and market yourself. Social media, yes, blatantly, we're seeing a lot of advertising on social media. A lot of it is clickbait as well, which encourages you to go to a specific site. But using platforms like Facebook, Instagram, other social media platforms, which include Twitter, LinkedIn, even though it's professional, I'm starting to see a lot of ads for products or service propositions where they're individuals or professionals who are advertising of their services. So make use of that, take advantage of that. Use your family and friends to share, and because that would take you to that next level. You can't have all of this without being at the root of what got you into that business. And the root of what got you into that business is because of your firm belief in what you are producing or servicing. So live up to your promises, right? Constantly review what you've promised and update. So if you're saying that, your biggest unique selling proposition is to be able to make your customers feel like family, review that from time to time, see if they're still being felt like family, ask questions, send out polls, and go back to the basics. If you feel that growth has made you take a back seat on what your initial promise was. This will not only enhance your reputation within the community, but it will make sure that you are held in high regard with your customers. And finally, become a thought leader. What do I really mean by that, by becoming a thought leader? So here's an example. Position yourself as an expert in your industry by going ahead and publishing articles, blogs, creating a video. If you're following Instagram and you're looking at TikToks, and now you're seeing a lot more where people are coming out and giving you advice on how to manage your money, right? And it's like, oh, how much of a house can you buy? And they're like, it's a TikTok, and they're like, oh, if you make 50,000, this is how much you can buy. So use that avenue and try and disseminate the information that you have and share it on blogs, on various newsletters. And this will make sure that your customers see you as a thought leader, as someone who is genuinely interested in what they do. Now that we've talked about creating that marketing plan, it's time to put that into practice. And the best way of putting that into practice is by making more people aware that you exist. So the more people that know about you, the higher the likelihood that they will buy from you or they will visit you. So how do we do that? You do that by gaining more exposure and enhancing your communication. And what do I exactly mean by that? By gaining more exposure and enhancing your communication, that is through the fact that if I were to spell it out, the more people who know about you, the more customers you'll attract. So let's look at some of the ways that can get your business in front and center, right? Up into social media. If you have decided to open up a Facebook for your business, please make sure that you constantly update it, because if your customers are seeing that it's just a placeholder and there's no new information, the likelihood that they will not visit or they will lose interest over time increases significantly. Consider other platforms, and when I'm saying other platforms, look at a YouTube channel, business-to-business platforms. I gave some examples of TikToks and Instagram. So see what other platforms are available for you to be able to go in and make that impact. Finally, make use of imaging, right? We all say that a picture says 1,000 words. If you have very wordy, posts, it seems to attract less attention, because now everybody's feeling that they have to invest the time into reading what you've written now. So try and communicate it through pictures, because that will then show that small time frame, biggest impact. Finally, your website. With your website, you've got to make sure that you invest that time in, because that's the biggest and the first impression that your customers are going to be getting when they land on your website. A very cluttered website, very strongly suggesting people buy, is a big turnoff. Have it nice and clean so that it's easy to navigate. There are lots of tools now out in the technology industry that allow you to make that website by yourself as well. And again, there's a lot of freelancers as well who will, for a very budgeted price, end up making a nice website for you. So invest in that, because just like your store, which you have decorated and you have put a lot of money into. So I'm just going to turn off my webcam because I'm receiving a message that the connectivity is a little bit down. So I've just turned off my webcam, and I will come back and see if I can share it back again with you. So like I was saying, invest in your website and make sure it doesn't go down when it rains. Moving on, word of mouth and asking for referrals. The biggest thing that we want to look into doing is build the concept of creating a great customer experience and making sure that we continue to promote it, right? As for those testimonials, make use of your website. Give individuals that flexibility to be able to leave comments. And when we say the flexibility to be able to leave comments, Google reviews is something that comes to mind. If you have a website and if you have Google reviews, make sure you address them. Make it a plan, whether you want to do it on a daily basis for half an hour, maybe you want to do it every other day, maybe once a week, that you are investing that time by going into those Google reviews to be able to actually see what your customers are saying about you, because that is something that will be able to give you a quick fix around. The next piece is encouraging customer referrals, right? So now that you've asked your customers to refer, make sure you can deliver on those promises, right? And another piece is offer those unexpected extras and discounts, and also think about what matters most to your customers. We talked about loyalty discounts. We also talked about extras. Can you throw in free shipping? Can you throw in a surprise handwritten card in your delivery? It'll mean a lot because what they're simply expecting is a product that they paid for. So at the end of the day, if they end up receiving from the business owner a small thank you card, thanking them for the business and an opportunity, that stays for a long time. There's the saying that people don't remember what was said to them. They usually remember how they felt. So if you make them feel great, I'm sure it will leave a lasting impression. And finally, turn a negative into a positive. We all have issues which can arise as a result of maybe staff training, or our process might not be very aligned with what we are trying to achieve. Look into those aspects. If you're getting a complaint, acknowledge that complaint, and the best possible way is to reach out. Instead of an email, try and reach out through a voice chat, like a phone call, because now it will show your customers that you've invested rather than possibly an auto-generated response or someone who's just typed a response. Take that with you, deal with the complaint swiftly. We might not have answers for everything, or you might not have answers for everything. You might not be able to make everybody happy, but if you can make them feel as if they were heard, half the battle will definitely be won. Update your processes and refresh training. Sometimes it's not especially you or the process. It could be the staff that you have who, for the lack of training, think this way of doing something would be the best way. Keep that training reinforced, get them back on that training bandwagon, make sure that they understand and their priorities are linked directly to what you have as your business. And moving on, with me a moment here. I will have to go back. I do apologize. did seem to get stuck, and it is probably because of our technology challenge today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your patience. And there we go. So moving on to the next one here would be boosting sales through direct selling. Now, I know in my previous chats and my presentation, I kept asking for feedback, and please feel free to type in, if you have any questions, ask me to slow down, move faster if there's some areas that you are already very familiar with, and I will make sure that I can incorporate that. Boost sales through direct selling, and the biggest thing here is learn the art of cross-selling. So what's involved in cross-selling? Learn to bundle products. And when you offer a package, the likelihood is that you're also taking care of additional needs that the member or the customer might have. So I'll take us back to our break-even analysis and maybe our cash flow statements where we use an example of a candle store, right? So if you are only selling candles, try and make sure that if you can, bundle them with candle holders, bundle them with other accessories that go along, with that you feel that align with your product. And once you bundle the products, you can also look into rewarding temptations. And when I say rewarding temptations, I know I have been guilty. My wife has definitely been guilty, and she's been charged as well to add additional items just so that they can get free shipping. So it's like, you know what? Free shipping for orders over $75. Guess what? She's at 43, and all of a sudden, adding more so that we can get free shipping. That's what rewarding temptations is about. I'd also like to bring us and practice, right? Practice those bundling. Don't stick with one bundle. Don't stick with one aspect. And when I say practice that bundling piece, we were having a very interesting conversation yesterday as we were trying to prepare and go through our webinar today. And as Sue and I were discussing, one thing that came out predominant was the fact that when you product bundling, give your customers a choice as well. So what do I mean by that? I'm trying to look for an example. So let's say if you have the candle store and you've got selling the candles, and you've decided that, if you buy this candle, here's a holder, it's only $1.99, for example, but don't leave it with that holder. If you can give a similar value that they can actually bundle with something else, maybe they have 16 holders sitting at their home. Maybe what they really need is a potpourri set to go along with the candle. So if it is the same value and you're able to give options, you will have a very high likelihood that your product bundling will be much more successful. Listen to your customers, see what they want in terms of those bundles, and that will definitely lead you to success. Direct contact is very important, right? And when we're talking about direct contact, what we're simply talking about is, if you have an opportunity, visit your customers. I don't mean door-to-door knocking, depending on the kind of business that you have. You might be supplying to, you might be part of a supply chain. So as we all know, October is always celebrated as Small Business Month. Take that opportunity to be able to go and visit your customers if they're businesses. Send out thank you letters. Try and engage with them, because now what you're showing is that you are invested in them, and you're building your trust and credibility. And this can be done through newsletters and customer visits as well. So when you're having that direct contact, it once again emphasizes your investment into your business and your persistence to making sure that it is successful. Do we have any questions so far? Which will also give me a chance to take a breather. I will leave. I will give you all a minute or so to sort of recap and see if there's some ideas, maybe some thoughts that some of you have tried in the matter that we've covered so far. So I will leave it for you to type in your comments, your suggestion. I'll give it like about maybe 45 seconds to a minute to get some responses in.
So for those of you that are new to the GoToWebinar platform, there is a question box on your participant control panel. So you're welcome to type in your questions there. I was just going to say I loved your comment about upselling with the free shipping. There's been numerous purchases I've made during COVID where I'm like, oh, I've got to add one more item to my shopping cart so I can get that free shipping.
Exactly. Yeah, no, thank you. And I think Gwenda had a question. I just see a little bit of a question mark there. So I don't know if that was a comment from you, Gwenda, or did you actually have a question?
I think that was a comment at the beginning. I think there was some issues with sound, but I think that's all sorted now.
I see. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for that, validation of that comment as well. And, see if your business can offer, that free shipping aspect, or, offer an additional discount if the purchase is over a certain dollar amount, right? Add an additional 20% discount for all purchases over $100 or $50, right? Again, how do you achieve? Do I give them a 10% or 20%? Let me take you back to your break-even analysis, because if you've done your break-even analysis, correctly, and you've invested some time in it, you will be able to know exactly what you are able to offer to your members and or to your customers. So thank you very much for that. Let's move on to the next piece, which is again boosting through direct selling your sales. Be where your customers will be, and what exactly do I mean by that? Trade shows, right? There's a lot of trade shows that happen every once in a while. Take an opportunity to be at those trade shows. And don't be one of those who is setting up a table and standing behind it. The trade show or an event like that is a perfect opportunity for you to interact with your members. Once you have your physical trade shows coming back up, look at it as an opportunity. Exhibitions is another avenue where you are now actually talking to specific customers within your industry, right? So look into that piece as well as to what you can attend, how can you contribute, and that will also link back in to the become a thought leader in your industry, right? Look at networking events. Maybe not all of you consider your attendance today in this webinar as an opportunity, but for me, I think this is also a great, networking event. Use a chat functionality, to follow up with individuals and reach out to them, network with them, see if you share the same, likes, dislikes. Attend your events that are run by suppliers, right? Because guess what? If you're attending an event that is being run by a supplier, there are chances that there are other customers there as well who possibly want to deal with that supplier or are in a similar industry like yourself. So it'll give you a great opportunity to be able to, interact with them, learn best practices, and like we talked about, studying the competition. That would be your best way to study that competition. Run webinars. Guess what? That's exactly what we're doing today. Becoming that thought leader, running those webinars, providing that information to be able to reach out to a specific target market, to be able to help them achieve what they're setting out to go into. And once we are back to normal, or whatever the new normal is, physical workshops, or continue with the amazing workshops that we are having right now through our virtual meetings. This again will give you an opportunity to interact with your customers. And finally, community events. For those of you who have been around for a little bit in the Brampton market, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we haven't been able to be involved in a lot of community events due to our social distancing and regulations that have been set out. But community events is an absolute wonderful way not to sell, but to show your commitment to your community. So when you're looking into taking part in this community events, it should be about what you are rather than the product that you're selling. So try and take part in these community events. I know the biggest one that we are very proud of that we participated in was the Canada Day celebrations back a couple of years ago at the Chihuzi Park. We had a lot of fun. It was a great event, and there was no here, come bank with us. It was more about, this is what we are. We are here to have fun. We are investing in our community, again, with the partnership from the city of Brampton as well, right? So look into those aspects as well. A great event that's coming up would be the farmers market. So put your thought into that, depending on what kind of items that you're selling and what you're looking into. And based on your business plan, if your plan is to go big, right, you might even want to consider entering the international market. A few ways to be able to do that is either through setting up an online store. And when we say an online store, there's pre-built stores and pre-built stores to the fact that their websites, it's a storefront, so people from across the continent or across the world can actually access that and access your products as well. But this all has to come in sync with what your original business plan was. Where did you see your vision of your product or your service? And if you have that vision very set out very clearly, right in the beginning, all of these activities will lead you to that. And maybe you just don't want to set up a presence, but you want to have third-party options. And third-party options are eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Redballoon, some sites which will house your products, right? So you necessarily don't want to be involved with all the additional costs, but you want to be able to still provide that exposure. Most of these sites take advantage of some very sophisticated artificial intelligence or AI algorithms, which I believe is someone in Amazon is stalking me because every time, last time I wanted a new lawnmower blade. And guess what? I was shopping for a lawnmower blade, and the next day I had suggestions for a rake. I had suggestions for garden trimmers. I'm like, how do you know I need these things as well? But product bundling, artificial intelligence. If I am looking for a lawnmower blade, the likelihood is I have a backyard, the grass is pretty high, and I might need to rake it or trim some rose bushes as well. So that's a concept, with artificial intelligence and the product bundling piece as well. Do-it-yourself shopping add-ons for your website. If you have a website, and like I said, becoming a thought leader, offer that free. So again, I love to relate to personal life examples. At my tenant's place, the washer wasn't rinsing, completely rinsing. So my tenant said, well, you know what, the clothes are still wet. Can you send someone to have a look? Me, being the frugal me, decided that I'm pretty handy, decided that I'm going to take this on for myself. So I went on a YouTube, finding out what are some of the reasons, and it turned out that my tenants had a very little baby, and what ended up happening was their socks, which are about the size of your fingertips, from children's place, their socks got sucked into the pump. So as a result, it wasn't raining. So I was able to do that. However, while I was at this site, they were also recommending what additional filters could be bought at their site to make sure that the washer stays fresh. So which prompted me, after viewing the video, I'm like, okay, maybe I should change the filter as well, so that it doesn't happen in the future. So that is what your do-it-yourself shopping add-ons on your website can actually lead to more sales as well. Sell more than your product, and typical to the example that I gave you with the lawnmower blade, sell complementary items that go well with your product itself. And how can you do that? With a marketing material and building an alliance with the manufacturer or distributor or the small business owner of that complementary item. So here's how it works. You promote their item on your website, and they promote your item on their website. Those alliances can definitely result in great sales for both the partners involved. Expanding your range, again, means that, for example, if you're operating a gym, not only can customers join online, but you can also be selling workout equipment and supplementals. Those big protein shaker bottles, yeah, you know what, sell them online, and you will be able to, again, increase your revenue streams, and that's what it's about. And finally, if it's in it for you, and if that is your dream, and exporting is an option that we're not going to talk a lot about, but you could also be looking at exporting, right? Again, aligning with your solid business plan. So with that said, you know what, we're going to talk about some of the tools, tips, tricks that we shared along our journey over the last three sessions that you've been all part of. What's really important is starting your business. We have something that is available on our website. It's a guide to start your business, a step-by-step guide to understand your financials, know your market, reduce your startup costs, and increase your chances of success. We also have information on how to write a business plan so that it can help you get to that financing stage. We talked about a break-even calculator, and we discussed that in detail. And a lot of the material that I discussed with you all today comes from our financial, our health check, all right? So our business health check is what was the basis of a lot of our material today. And also, you can continue to look at various blogs. So if you're going to our website or a competitor's website or whatever website, there's a lot that is available. Possibly you must have never thought of how to minimize the high cost of credit card disputes, right? There's some information around that. And we wanted to share a success story, a YouTube video that we have. Unfortunately, because of the technology situation that we are running into, if I were to play the video, you do not hear the sound. I want the video to have its full impact. It is an interview by Fabio Murama, who is our Director of Product Innovation, about a new business set up by a group of young individuals, two young individuals. It's only about 3 minutes and 29 seconds. I would strongly encourage you to be able to watch this video, and it will tie in everything that we talked about, using Instagram, using Facebook, using friends and family for our word of mouth, and will actually lead you to believe well, not lead you to believe, but actually get you to believe that yes, the amount of persistence and effort that you put into your business with the right activities will lead you to great results. So once again, strongly encourage you to watch that 3-minute and 29-second video. And it is actually testimonial from our very new small business entrepreneurs that might sort of relate to you as well. And with that, you know what, I'd definitely like to invite my boss and my leader, Sue Bennison, who I mentioned as the revamped Roshan. You know, she doesn't look anything like Roshan, trust me. Our district vice president for the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, West area, which includes parts of Hamilton, the Peel market as well, and of course, Brampton. So over to you, Sue, to provide us with a series recap and your closing comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Khurram. And I don't think my voice is quite as low as Roshan's is either. So thank you very much. And welcome to everyone that participated in our session this morning. Just to be able to recap the eConnect series, we've had the pleasure of participating in, and we really hope that you have found value. I think that's really what's important, is that these series recap and the sessions that we have, the topics actually came from you, which to me clearly demonstrates how the Business Entrepreneur Center, BEC, is adding value, and also a great testimonial. It attests the fact that Jennifer and team are listening to your feedback. So thank you for making the suggestions. So the first session was business viability and the break even analysis, which included understanding costs and revenue and profit of your business and how to determine the financial viability of your business. The second being business viability and cash flow forecasting included factors that determine how cash enters your business, as well as forecasting monthly cash flow. Early stage financing, really we had the opportunity to be able to cover how to borrow money, and in particular to be able to start up your business, or if you're ready to further expand your business. And with today's session, having the opportunity to be able to talk about cost-effective ways to increase sales leads, and reach out to a new customer base online, understanding your unique value proposition is all key. So Meridian is a proud partner of the City of Brampton and proud sponsor of the Business Entrepreneur Center and the Farmers Market. We encourage you to take full advantage of the resources and expertise at BEC, and thank as well the team at BEC for their outstanding support to the community, whether you're a startup business or operating a business and want to be able to take it to the next level. Considerable expertise to be able to support you along the way. And last is that we encourage you to also, so we have the opportunity to also sponsor the farmers market, and we encourage you as well to take advantage of having the opportunity to go to the farmers market, which will be opening up June 19th and run through until October 23rd. So just another way to be able to, the city has worked very hard to be able to provide for the opportunity for residents and those coming outside of the city of Brampton to be able to enjoy the farmers market. With that said, we wish you well in your businesses, and if we can be of any support whatsoever, please don't hesitate. And as Khurram was mentioning, we strongly encourage that you have the opportunity to be able to take advantage of the tools that we have on our website to be able to help you be successful in your business. So we wish you all the luck, and support is always available should you require it. Thank you, Khurram. And Jennifer, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Sue. I did, for anyone that is interested in rewatching any of the videos in our 4-part series, they've been uploaded to our YouTube channel. So there's a specific playlist for the Entrepreneurs Connect 2021 Spring Series with Meridian. So I've included that link in the chat. There was a question, Khurram, that came in. I guess it is related to a service-based business. This client is wondering if you can relate some of the tactics to add on to a service that requires your time versus products.
Yes, certainly. So I see that, just noticed that the question was asked by Gwenda. Unfortunately, she has left. However, I'm still going to address that question. I think what she was meaning to ask is that if you are a service and if you don't have, a hard product, and it's a service that you're selling, how do you do those add-ons, right? How do you bring an add-on feature to that aspect? Whether it is through product bundling or it is a different feature. So the only thing that I can at this point think of, and I'm not very sure what Gwenda's background or profession is, something that comes to mind would be that for those of you who've seen me already, and you know what, I'm going to try this one more time and make sure that you can see me. And if you can, I don't visit a hair salon very often, but there was a time when I was able to visit hair salons. So the biggest service that, it's always a cut and a wash, right? It's never just a cut, or it's a cut and a wash and a dye. So based on that recommendation, you add on. So it's difficult to, at the top of your head, try and relate a service example. However, if there is a specific profession or service that you're in, then I might be able to, explore other ideas where we would be able to add that on. So if any one of you out there is providing a service, and feels that, something, feel free to pop that in the chat, or better still, try and reach out, look for Gwenda on LinkedIn, try and connect with her and say, you know what, that was a great question. This is what I do, right? And this is putting what you have learned or enhancing what you are already doing into practice. So based on a networking aspect. I know that doesn't solidly answer the question, but it definitely gives some direction to those of you who are in the service industry to think a little bit broader.
Great, thank you. So I guess we'll just leave the question box open for another minute or so. We're almost at 12 o'clock, so I do want to be mindful of your time. So if you do have a question, feel free to type it in the question box. I have included Khurram's email address in the chat as well, so if there's anything that you think of after today's session, or if you missed his first session on business viability, you're welcome to reach out to him directly.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And we will leave that at the question. And guess what? On a beautiful rainy day, we would love to give you all back a couple of minutes to grab that extra cup of coffee and get on with your day. Thank you. It was a pleasure. And thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, and thanks for participating. We will follow up with an email later this afternoon with a link to today's recording, as well as a copy of today's presentation that will also include the link to the Meridian success story that we encourage you all to check out. And as Sue and Khurram were mentioning, there are a ton of wonderful resources to support you in your entrepreneurial endeavors, not just specific to marketing, but obviously they have a very detailed list of great tools that you can access at any stage. So encourage you to check out Meridian's website as well. Thank you again for participating. Thank you, Meridian, for your generous support of this series and the wonderful 4-person phone booth in our space. It is lovely, and I absolutely cannot wait for our clients to be able to use it again. So thank you again, everyone. Stay dry. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thanks, everyone.